All right, now it's time to review newspapers from Nigerian newspapers, the major headlines, and we'll begin with the Nation newspaper. The major headline here says, APC, Tinubu remains a solid, reliable candidate. APC, Tinubu remains a solid, reliable candidate. All the details on the front page of the Nation newspaper. And we move now to the front page of the Blueprint 2023. Don't lead us into genocide, ACF warns politicians. That's Arewa Consultative Forum speaking, says hate speech raising tension nationwide. Tinubu accuses rivals as masterminds of INEC statement, urges police probe, cautions Shetima on foul language. Obi tells APC Atiku's move to reconcile with Wike-led G5 too late, Von DG. And to the front page of the Daily Times now, PDP, APC in verbal war over Tinubu's eligibility to contest Nigeria's presidency. Ex-Lagos governor ineligible should step down, says opposition party. Tinubu will not step down, will retire Atiku to Dubai in 2023. The APC is speaking there. We move to the front page of the Business Day now. Atiku Kwankwaso Tinubu differ on jobs for youth. Atiku Kwankwaso Tinubu differ on jobs for youth. And to the front page of the Daily Trust, why federal government may not implement Orosanye report before 2023. There are interests in maintaining status quo. Ex-permanent secretary speaking there. All right, now we'll move to the front page of this Nigerian newspaper, National Assembly renovation. Senate seeks variation of 30 billion naira contract sum. Says money not enough to complete project as contractors blame Naira for slow pace of work. Details on the front page of this Nigerian newspaper, Mike.
All right, I have here Nigerian News Direct. That's what we have here. And let's begin. It says, unauthorized budget, 2 trillion naira at stake as reps seek to probe 63 agencies. Naiti to explain 960 million naira personnel cost in 2022 budget for 43 staff. Lawmakers angered over circumventing legislative oversight. We have this on the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. And let's go to Nature News now. Nature News is next, and it says 500 million Africans will lack electricity by 2023. This is a report by World Bank. Oh, by 2030, sorry. By 2030, and 500 million Africans will lack electricity by 2030. That's by a report by World Bank. Okay, now let's get to the Abuja Inquirer. Ground rent is the focus here. Asokoro, Maitama property owners owe 3.1 billion naira. FCTA issues 2,979 demand notice. All that on the front page of the Abuja Inquirer. The Punch newspaper is next. Punch newspaper says domestic airlines ask court to terminate federal government Ethiopian deal. This on the national carrier. Domestic airlines ask court to terminate federal government Ethiopian deal. Air Peace, Asman Airlines seek withdrawal of Nigerian air license. And AGF Malami, Ethiopian Airlines, Sirika, Nigerian Air listed as defendants. All this you find on the front page of the Punch newspaper. National economy is next, and mass exodus of Nigerian professionals. Whose gain? All right, that's a big one there. Mass exodus of Nigerian professionals. Whose gain? Okay, from there let's go to Business AM. Business AM says Nigerian banking hall queues persist despite technology wave. All that you see on the front page of Business AM. And palm oil gains focus as Nigeria commits to ASCI declaration. Leadership newspaper is the last one I'm looking at right now. Leadership says Orama, Marwa, Amuson emerge leadership persons of the year. A board releases a full list of 2022 awards. All right, that's what the leadership has in there, right?
All right, gentlemen, let's quickly look at this story on the front page of the Daily Times, and it's also on the front page of the Nation newspaper, talking about The verbal war between the two leading political parties, PDP and APC, where the PDP is saying that Tinubu is ineligible to contest the role or the seat of the presidency, and the APC fired back saying that Tinubu remains a solid, reliable candidate. Recall that over the weekend, there was a fake report making the rounds that INEC was going to
press release.
Yeah, like a press release that INEC was going to investigate the APC presidential candidate, and INEC came out to debunk that. And you know, a station actually also apologized for also making that report. But PDP seems to not be letting go. Is still, you know, in a trade of words with the APC.
Yeah, there are two sides to this issue. Now, the first one is the media side of the story. And this is the time that the professionals should be professional. Reporters should be reporters. Gatekeepers should be gatekeepers. People should be responsible. People should understand that in this profession, facts are sacred and opinions are free. Yeah. People should not understand. People should understand that in carrying out our duties, there are consequences. When you write, when you broadcast, there are consequences. When you interview people, you should have information about who you are interviewing, about the background of the subject, and don't throw questions just because you want to be contrarian. That is not professionalism. We are beginning to see that, and that plays into what has happened with this story about INEC and no INEC. And the story was thrown out there and all over the social media, and a respected broadcast station, which is supposed to vet information, decides to put it out there as fact. That is poison. That is creating trouble. A newspaper in the US has created, by false news, has created a war before. It happened, the Spanish War was created because a newspaper put up a news story that was not true. So we should understand the consequences of news. And then coming to the issue of the eligibility of Asiwaju to run, over what? Over what allegation? First they came, they said he had no good health. They discovered that the man is bouncing about. They moved, but that was even before that. They said he had bad certificate, that he didn't go to school in Chicago. They made the noise all over the place. They even went to, they wanted, out of mischief, they wanted to go and find out for University of Chicago. Chicago started answering them even after answering them like 4 or 5 times. They discovered that they still kept going to say, maybe Chicago will change its mind and say, no, it didn't go to. So the Chicago University Department already had an answer. So anybody that case, okay, take, we're already waiting for you, take the answer. Then the man was even a scholar. In fact, they wanted to know whether he passed. Then they told them, he not only passed, he was a special student, and so on. Now they've gone with that. They moved on. Then they went to another old one, which they did during the primaries, about drugs and no drugs. I said, look, do you want to be more judicial than the court? The court said the matter has been dismissed with prejudice, which means that there is no case at all. The U.S. Embassy issued a statement in 2003-2004 saying that the FBI says there is nothing like that about this man. This is the #1 investigating body in the world. Nigeria doesn't come near to it. And then we keep saying that it's not eligible. And not eligible for what? On the basis of what? On the basis of fiction? This is irresponsible. If we want to look at issues, let us look at issues. Let us not throw ourselves into pettifogging, which is what this matter has become.
Mike.
Yeah, the point there is the disappointment here is when mainstream media, that is the original hope of anybody when it comes to media. Because when you say, I heard it on TVC, or I heard it on this TV station, or I heard it on this radio station, it is assumed that it is stamped, sealed, and delivered when it
Yes.
comes to verified and authenticity.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So when a story is on the streets, where social media, all the vultures and all the whatever are feasting on stories like that, and then any media station goes in there, maybe because somebody wants to trend or somebody wants to be out there by publicity or something, you go and pick up a story like that, and then you publish or even talk about it. It really drops the standard of the role of gatekeeping in media. This industry, we are the ones that are meant to ensure that anybody who listens and says, I heard it on this TV, is supposed to be authentic, totally authentic. That is why there's a room for verification. There's need to verify all of these things before. When I saw that thing, I knew, in fact, that is not even the way INEC writes. Anybody who understands will know that that is not even INEC's.
It's not INEC's job
that
to
is
do
not.
that.
It's not even INEC's job to verify that.
Absolutely.
But even besides that, the press release, I saw the thing, but this is not. It is
The way
fake.
INEC
It is
writes.
totally fake. It's not the way INEC writes. Number two is that the design of the letterhead is not INEC's letterhead. I saw all it. I knew that everything was just modeled up. Some persons who even wanted to do the thing didn't even do it right. Those who even sat down to craft that thing to disinform the public, they didn't even do it right. If you want to do the thing,
I was
you
in
wanna
an
do it,
editorial meeting last week in which I said, when the story is written, it is the reporter's problem. But once the organization sends this out,
Yeah.
it's no longer the reporter's
It's true.
problem.
It's gone beyond the reporter.
It is the gatekeepers. People should be fired when they cause problems in society based on what they do. Look at the US media is a problem now, in a sense, because going to this their runoff election, all of them were saying, "Oh, it's going to be a red wave." What they saw was not even a red wave; it was a riptide. So that a riptide is when the two streams or currents meet. And when they meet, then you cannot go anywhere. In other words, it turns back against you. That's what happened. They said Republicans are going to take over the Senate. The Republicans didn't. The Democrats have retained the Senate. So what you have seen, even in the House of Representatives, is still up there. Even when they win, it's going to be a cliffhanger. There's no red wave. So people are, even the man who said fake news, who came with fake news, he used his own fake news to even deceive the media. So they are all coming back. They're going to defeat the Democrats. Media should know that the responsibility of news is like food in the body. It can poison and it can enrich it. But that is not what we are seeing. So this is supposed to be a wake-up call to media, even as we get into the nitty-gritty of the campaign.
Of course,
Yes.
of course.
That
Critical
people
time, yes.
should trade on facts and not on illusions.
Yeah.
And those who are not professionals should be weeded out. No matter how old you are in this job, if you misbehave, you go out. In the US, Ted Koppel was an institution. When he erred, he was fired out of ABC. They do that. A number of people have done that. There's another guy in CBS, I forgot his name now, Dan Rather. Dan Rather also goofed. He was flushed out. It was an institution in the media. You don't compromise integrity. You don't compromise facts.
Absolutely.
When you are covering, especially matters of great consequence.
Yeah. Recall in 2015, we had this kind of situation too, where a TV station came with the same issues and even had a documentary and all of that. And then when they were sued, they had to come begging, and then, all of the beggings, they called everybody who was everybody to speak so that they can settle. So the point there is, whether we're learning from history, I don't know, for other stations to come up with this at this time, that's another election cycle. But I feel that we should learn and get above, we should live above board. Some things are too elementary for media stations, for known media, mainstream media stations to get into and even bring it on their platform to even be a topic of discussion.
Absolutely.
So I think we should learn, because going into the campaign cycle, we're still going to have a lot of misinformation, fake news, disinformation, and even hate speech-related issues. All of them boil down to the issue of inadequate media literacy. And that is what we should all have.
This have been happening. I had an incident the other day when another respected station also interviewed somebody who made a claim. And the interviewers could not even ask a question. And the person lied against me, saying that I was in a rally holding a goat.
Yes.
In a respected TV station. No. That's not
I think the issue here is that as media organizations, we should do our due diligence, ensure that we inform the people appropriately.